Well, Mark Stubbs says that he nearly died. He has been left with liver damage as a result of the virus. Mark joins us now from South London. Dr. Hilly, of course, is here too. Mark, nightmare for you, but you are a really healthy person. You've done marathons, you were training for Ironman, all of that, and then this just hit you like a truck.
Yeah, I think the misconception is that people are thinking that the young can't get it, but yeah, indeed, it is a bad virus, and I think a lot of young people can get it and will get it.
How bad was it for you? I mean, describe what it was like to go through this.
Well, I've had flu before, and I think instantly you know it's not flu just from the fever. I think the fever's up to 40 degrees and slightly higher, which for me was very uncomfortable. I think it's the aches and pains, so you generally, it's not an exaggeration to feel like you've been in a car crash or you can't really move at all left or right, and then just how quickly it takes hold. So, you know, the day before, a couple of days before, was running mobile absolutely fine, and within 3 days, you're unable to breathe unaided, lungs completely taken over, can't sit up in bed, you know, coughing up blood, etc. So it is really serious, and I think people need to. I don't think people realise that you can be completely healthy and you'll react to it one way. So you might be someone that doesn't get symptoms, but you could also end up reacting really badly and therefore taking up a bed from someone that you might survive. So a young person obviously is much more likely to survive, but that means you've still occupied a bed, which there isn't enough for 2 weeks. I mean, I was in hospital in ICU for 13 days.
How are you feeling now, and how long did it take you to, if you like, get back to normal?
So now, still pretty breathless, can walk a couple of 100 metres, which is obviously a big step down from where I was before. Lived a relatively active lifestyle. Sleeping a lot at the moment, so I think the liver has taken a bit of a battering, which causes a lot of fatigue. So yeah, it'll be a couple of months before I'm fully back to normal, and there will be a burden on the NHS in terms of follow-up specialist help, liver, kidneys, etc.
It's so interesting what you were saying about the effect that it's having in a potential long-term effect, because Hilary, we haven't really heard much about this, and that's very interesting, actually very worrying, that the liver can be affected in long term. Sure.
Matt, what you're saying is extremely relevant, and I hope millions of people are listening into this, because as a marathon runner, you'd have had a really healthy pair of lungs with great respiratory reserve, and yet you couldn't breathe unaided. Now, that, I think, will actually make it clear to people how serious this virus is. And it's a long recovery, isn't it? It's not just a quick a chest infection and antibiotics and you're better. We know antibiotics wouldn't work anyway because this is a virus. But what you're telling the nation now is so important for all those idiots who went out there at the weekend and were mixing in mass gatherings. What would your message be to them today?
I think twofold. I think, one, look after yourself and your families. I think they might not get it in terms of really badly, but they will pass it to inevitably one or two of their friends who will react badly. And two, just spare a thought for, you know, the burden on the NHS. If a young person's taking up the beds, and you heard Piers' stat this morning in the US, and you've seen the stats out of China, there are a lot of young people that are needing to take up beds. You may survive and you might get through it, but the old person that didn't get that ventilator probably isn't going to have the same fate. And I think that's the powerful thought to just spare a thought for kind of those people, and maybe
right, you're so right, Mark. You really are. I just wondered, I was just going to ask Mark whether or not anyone's told him about immunity. Have you been told that now you might be immune to this, or has that not been raised?
I mean, it's kind of been spoken about. Obviously, there's the data out of Japan. I think for now, it would be irresponsible to just, you know, start mixing with friends or figuring I can't get it. So just staying at home, following the guidance. And I think immunity is almost it's good for the next 3 months in terms of people potentially getting back to work. And this sort of antigen test that they're developing is also really interesting. But for me, I'll be staying in like everyone else and working from home.
Quite right, Mark.
We really appreciate you joining us. Best of luck with your continued recovery.
Absolutely.
You've given a brilliant assessment there of what it's like to go through and why it's so important that people just stay in and give our health service a chance.